Good morning, Keller Williams. It's O1000. What does the O stand for? Oh my gosh, it's early. Yes, I know they don't say O1000, but it's the only way that it works.
Oh, right. Okay. What do they say?
It 1000.
I don't think so.
Yeah, only if it's a single digit is it
0900 hours.
0900 hours,
1100,
0930.
hours.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got our military training out of the way.
Exactly. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Brett Bishop. This is Peter Hopkins, and this is
MCTTs Unleashed.
I just love doing that.
I know.
You know that.
I know.
I am a former MCTT here in the South Florida region, but still heavily involved with our tech community. I'm a labs advisor and a 21-year veteran.
21? We're going for 21?
21-year veteran in the real estate business, third-generation realtor, and been a successful realtor all that time. I'm happy with the success I've had. I've never had a humongous team, but I have had a third-person team at some point. But
a ton of business.
I have done a ton of business. That's right.
Have.
Yep. So deep-rooted real estate family values here in Southwest Florida. And Peter, tell them about yourself.
Well, what can I say? I'm a transplant from the United Kingdom. I got into real estate in America in 2008, 2010, just as it was all literally falling apart. So we all ended up doing different roles, like more rentals and more property management, because the sales were a mess and mortgages were difficult to get. And then prior to that, in 94, I started with Prudential in the UK. And then from 98 to 2008, ran a boutique brokerage is the best way of describing it, in a little village competing with the big boys. It was fun. And there you go. So, yeah, a long time, 29 years altogether from being involved in anything to do with real estate. So quite a long time.
Awesome. I know that we look ridiculously young, but there's 50 years of experience here.
I mean, I'm in my, mid to late 30s.
Yeah. You're wearing it well, buddy.
Not bad. Started when I was a half. All good.
All right. Well, we've got a good show for you today. We are going to do a deep dive into opportunities. Opportunities is one of the most important applets in Command
because you get paid.
Exactly. You get paid.
So all those people out there, I don't use Command. Well, yes, you do, because you're not going to get paid if you don't use Command.
That's true.
You've got to use opportunities to get your compliance file and get signatures and get everything put together and ultimately get that commission check ordered.
Yep.
So opportunities is, I mean, let's face it, it's not the funnest subject.
No.
It's got zero creativity. There's no art in it. But
and funnest is totally a word. Fun, funner, funnest. Look it up.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Well, it is to
most
me.
Fun.
Funnest.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm going to Google it.
This is the difference between British English and American English.
The funniest.
Funniest is a word, but not funnest.
I like funnest.
So one of the great things about opportunities when you're using it correctly is your forecasting for your cash flow. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. What, did you see that it's a word?
Funnest is a regular superlative of the adjective fun.
That's bogus.
So there you go.
You looked up the UK dictionary.
It may be UK, but there you go. We'll discover something every day, like enrollment with loads of L's.
True.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at some of the features of opportunities that you may not have used or realized were there and why it was there. So we're going to talk about the intent of opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. One of the biggest pieces that goes to that intent of opportunities when used correctly is that you can forecast your cash flow in your business, which is huge. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to get into opportunity settings. We're just going to take a deep dive, like I said.
Sounds good.
Right?
How do we turn the microphone, the earphone level up? So it's a background noise there. All good.
Awesome.
I can hear your dulcet tones.
All right, so let's jump in, and we are talking about opportunities in command. If you're joining us on Facebook, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard the Facebook permissions so that if you would like to comment or interact with us, we can see exactly who you are. It will give us your Facebook username and your photo so that we don't have to refer to you as Facebook user.
Yes.
All right. So opportunities in command, that's what we're talking about today. And as always, we'll start with our culture moment.
Who's that lady?
This lady is absolutely one of the most amazing. Well, I'm going to say the most amazing, besides my wife, of course.
And your mother.
True.
Yeah.
But in business,
Yes.
this is probably the most amazing woman I've ever met. I've had the opportunity to meet her a handful of times, and she is the absolute backbone, whole reason for the culture of Keller Williams, and that is the lovely Mo Anderson. And this was actually just earlier this year, late last year. Last year.
Was it?
I think so.
Gosh, time flies.
I know, it goes so fast. But always enjoy being in her presence. Went to a ALC clinic once many years ago.
I feel like it must have been this year because you got your
think it
award for.
Oh yeah, was
last year.
that was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was early this year.
Yeah, this year.
Awesome. But she is just the loveliest lady and super intelligent, very gracious as always. And like I said, the backbone of our culture and the whole reason that we have Red Day, right? It always falls around her birthday. This year, it was actually on her birthday.
Was it really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I believe her birthday is May 12th.
Very good.
All right. So we are talking about our vision to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. Yeah. I mean, I know that for me, this is the company of choice for me, for sure. My son bears the middle name of Keller because this company was such a turning point in the lives of my wife and I. And I can't see myself at another company ever. I think I'd be out of the business before I switch companies. That's about where I stand.
It's those never say never moments.
Right? I know, but I really can't. It's just Talon Remax Bishop or Talon Caldwell Banker Bishop. It just doesn't have the same ring as Talon Keller Bishop.
No, certainly doesn't.
All right. So our objective today is to learn to create and navigate opportunities, to forecast cash flow, and manage transactions. So that's the one thing that we're going to show that you may not be aware is there in opportunities and one of the big reasons for opportunities. And our benefits are to gain a firm understanding of the purpose and intended use of the opportunities applet in command, and to bolster business planning and intentionality of tracking your business and cash flow. This sounds like great benefits to my business, doesn't it?
Sounds a bit like Star Trek in a way, that bolster your planning and go intentionally where no business has ever been before you. Yeah. I've been watching the new Star Trek series. Well, it's saying new. It's really, really good. I can't figure out what time it's set in. It's like it's not James T. Kirk. It's the one before him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's set before the original 1960s Enterprise.
Right.
But Uhuru is it? The one with the thing in her ear?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, she's in it.
Oh,
and Spock's in it.
Really?
Yeah, so Spock's in it. So I think
with his walker?
Huh?
With his walker?
No, he's young.
Oh, it's not. I'm thinking you're telling me it's the actual people that played those.
Oh
before.
no, he's died.
Did Spock die?
Spock died.
I know that the lady died, but
she just died. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, James T is. I think he's 94 or 95.
And that hair still looks good.
And I tell you, it don't get backache like I do. He was in space the other day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not bad.
We're always having fun here while we try to educate everybody. All right, so one of the main reasons we do this is to emphasize the importance of the 201 Plus Club. Peter, what's the 201 Plus Club?
The 201 Plus Club is an endeavor. It's a goal where if you are an agent and you have a database and you have your contacts on smart plans and you're contacting them regularly, you can expect that your earnings will be around $10,000 per month if you have 201 or more contacts. And that's measured from the whole of the database for Keller Williams Command. They correlated the amount of business being written against the number of active contacts that an agent has. So what's remarkable, though, is if you get up to 1,000, it goes up to 190,000. If you get up to 2,000 contacts, it goes to 20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Which is significant
That's
earnings.
awesome.
So building your database, actually 5,000, isn't it? No, it's 2,000.
Yeah.
Building your database is the goal. So the Tier 1 Club is about everyone being aligned in the same direction and getting that database built.
Yep. And that correlates to what we're talking about today, because it's that whole being able to forecast your cash flow, which is tracking your numbers. Because honestly, one of the most important things in this business and in any business is knowing your numbers. And I think that is the most transparent admission of guilt that I have heard across the board from most agents, even at high levels. Now, you typically your most top performing teams, they know their numbers very well, in your top agents. But even some of the top agents who maybe don't handle that because they have an ops manager or whatever. But I have heard that admission of guilt from so many top agents that have been on stage, that have spoken, in a coaching type role. They don't know their numbers.
I think it's because it creates anxiety.
Probably.
The truth is, if you know your numbers and you've got anxiety over your future, at least you know to do something about it.
Yes.
Whereas if you don't know your numbers, you're in a constant state of anxiety and you may or may not do something. But
exactly. That's a good point. Constant state of anxiety.
You are, because you have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, everyone has, increasing commitments with inflation. I mean, it's killing me, the bills that are coming in right now.
Yeah.
The size of them. And, you've got to plan out the good thing about real estate is the houses have inflated. So the commission levels have gone up as well. So that those two correlate nicely. But knowing where you're at and what number of people you need to talk to each day, what number of conversations you should be having, what marketing you need to do to get those conversations. And then you can track what is also being productive for you. Where did your business come from?
Right.
Because I think a lot of agents go, it's my sphere. And then they don't realize it sometimes isn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes large amounts are coming in from a lead source.
Or worse yet, they're spending money buying leads and they swear that that's where all their business is coming from. And when they really track it, it's not coming from there at all. Probably not enough to make it worth what they're spending.
Yeah. You got to know. That's the point. You got to know. Inspect what you expect.
Absolutely.
That's the term that you like to use.
I do love to use that term.
Yes.
It took me a while to commit it to memory, because I would hear it and I was like, oh, that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard. But it's true. And it comes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent playing red light, green light, inspect what you expect. So if I'm spending money on something, I need to keep inspecting that because I'm expecting a return. And if I'm not getting it, then I need to probably put the red light on that.
Yeah. So opportunities, as it seems like not an interesting topic. It's actually the most important of all of them.
Yes, it is, because this is our business tracking. And one of the things that we're gonna see today is there's some new features in there that are very helpful. So we have our vendors in there. We have we have more dates now for the transaction. So a lot of cool stuff that we're going to look at. One of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to look at the appropriate settings for opportunities. So we're going to dive right in. Let's switch around here and get into command. There we go. And we are good to go. Okay, so I am in my wife's account. My wife and I put our team back together. I'm very excited about that. She's been working hard, and we are back in business together, which is awesome. And I'm using her account because as a labs advisor, I don't want to let anything out of the bag that I'm not supposed to, and I can never keep track of what's good and what's not. So we're going to go to settings first. So I'm going to go up here to the name, right? My wife's name over here, the name of the agent, your name. You're going to click on this down caret, and we're going to go to settings.
Did you call it a down carrot?
A down caret.
Carrot.
It's a carrot, but most carrots go up. This one points down at first.
That's a carrot.
Yeah, but it's
As
pointing
in
down.
the orange bunny food.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't know it was called that.
I love working with this Brit because we're constantly learning each other's dialect. Of
It's
the
the
English
language. It's just different language altogether.
All right.
It's funnest.
It is funnest. All right. So I'm going to go to command settings and opportunity settings. This is where our client update is. Peter, do you know what the client update is?
I do. It's a communication which goes to the parties in the transaction. And here we're going to set it up.
Yep. So one of the things that we as agents are always battling is proving our worth and value to our sellers, especially. And this client update helps to relay that information to your seller. So as you're working through a transaction, you can send them. Now you have to have your opportunity tasks built out and everything. But once those are built out, you can actually systematically send this to the seller on a regular basis to let them know what you've been up to. All right. So we can set the time that it goes out, send from, and this is the owner of the opportunity. Or we can choose an individual rainmaker, whatever. Okay. Send to client and code client or primary client only. And then also send to assignees or owners. So assignees would be if I had, say, a buyer's agent, or well, in this case, this is for a listing. So if I had a listing specialist, I'm the rainmaker, and I have a listing specialist that's dealing with this, and this opportunity has been assigned to that listing specialist, then I would have this as the assignee, and that way the assignee, the listing specialist, is also getting copied on it. Okay, and then I'll just give you a quick preview of what that looks like. All right, and that's what it looks like. So where it says checklist item 1, 2, 3, those would be things that I specifically have. So, you know, might have ordered sign to go up, ordered photographer, things like that, right?
First inspection.
Yep.
Yep.
So we have that going on. And then another thing that I want you to keep in mind is opportunity tags. Opportunity tags are very useful. It's just like custom tags or contact tags in contacts, right? So I use them for a lot of different reasons. One thing that we talk about quite often is if I am paying for a lead source, say Zillow, right? If I'm paying for Zillow leads, I know it kills me. I'm actually not happy with how much that's been rolling off my tongue lately.
It should be.
You know, I used to just be like Big Z. I'm not going to say the name. But
well, I used to have a broker, and she used to say the colors of the other competitors because she didn't want to mention their names. It was like Voldemort. And I think Z, as you know, it should just be
about as far as we should go.
I don't want to say on live.
Okay.
What I really think of them.
All right. Well, then I'm going to use OpCity because OpCity is, well, here, we'll use two of them. Two of them that are kind of abundant throughout Keller Williams, right? 72 sold and what did I just say? OpCity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I'm using if I'm taking advantage and spending money or part of those programs, then my contacts are going to have OpCity or 72 sold, right? And any contact that then becomes a transaction, that opportunity is going to have a 72 sold tag or an OpCity tag. Because not only do I want to know how many contacts came from those lead providers, I also want to know how many of those contacts that I got from them, how many of those leads I got from them actually came to fruition as closed business.
Yeah. Plus, you've got to track your 35% that you're paying out. I mean, you're paying out big money for those leads. So you want to make sure that you know your numbers.
Yep, absolutely. So that is one reason to use opportunity tags.
Location's another one as well.
Location's another one. And
Yeah, I think
property types is what I use.
a lot of agents say, "Oh, I farm a certain area,"
Mm-hmm.
but 9 of the transactions out of the 12 they've done that year are not in that area.
Right.
You're really not farming that area, or if
Yeah.
you are, you're not getting the results you want.
Right.
So I think tracking the location, but you can have multiple tags.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely. As many as you want.
You
as
can
far
track
as
the
we
lead
know.
source.
Mhm.
You can track the location.
Yep.
You can track a referral source.
Yeah, so
other than lead source, a friend or family member that's referring to you.
Yep. And
property type.
I'm glad you brought that up with the referral, because I actually do that. If I received a referral from somebody, once that becomes an actual opportunity, and honestly, the minute I get the referral, that's an opportunity,
Yeah, it
right?
has to be.
Yeah. So I'll create the tag referral from and whatever the agent's name is.
That's another point. I was doing training a week ago, and an agent was very resistant about creating opportunities from conversations that he's had. My message was, if you're in conversation with a person, there should be an opportunity.
Absolutely.
But he said, no, because I have lots of conversations. Well, I'm like, well, you should have lots of opportunities then, because you need to track everything.
Yeah.
But he was very resistant to it. So what would your recommendation be? Like, if you've got a referral, you've spoken to them, but they're not doing anything for 6 months.
It's still an opportunity, because if it's not in my pipeline, it's like with the calendar, right? If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's not in my pipeline, I'm going to forget about it because I'm not going to see it.
Could easily. Yeah.
And being in my pipeline allows me to realize it's there, and nurture is one of the stages within the opportunity.
And it
phase.
only takes a second. You're not creating the whole thing all the way down to the end of the line.
Right.
You're just saying, putting a stake in the ground and saying, look, this is my customer. I'm going to be working with him. This is my expectation of what's going to come from it.
Yeah.
And that can then be included in your forecasting for your figures.
Right. So that's what we were talking about, right? If I don't create the opportunity based on that conversation, then I'm not realizing, and I would argue this to that agent that you're talking about, how many dollars, what's the potential GCI that he's missing out on that he doesn't even realize, because he hasn't created the opportunity around what that dollar figure looks like.
Exactly.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, the argument is I won't forget them, I'm not going to, but the fact is it's easily done. At least it's prompting you with the opportunities to do something about it.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So our opportunity archive, this is where when we archive an opportunity, this is where it goes, right? And just so that you can't permanently delete an opportunity. Why? Because of
regulations.
Compliance. Yeah, compliance with your state real estate commission. We can permanently delete contacts. Now, there's about 3 warning messages when you try to delete a contact. And one of the little nuances that was changed recently, if you haven't discovered this, the delete buttons are no longer teal, they're red. Right? So that's one of the more recent changes. And so you can ultimately delete a contact, but when it comes to opportunities, you cannot delete them. You can put them in your archive. And we just helped one of your agents last week who was annoyed because she kept seeing an opportunity.
Oh,
right.
This was in Docusign, right?
Yeah. But it also applies to in command too. Like if you're tired of seeing an opportunity that you archived, you just got to make sure that you're not looking at any of the archive stuff
as well.
Yeah. And then our team permissions. This is, hey, look at that. My wife's is fixed, but mine is broken.
Right. So the errors.
Yeah. So on mine, and some of you may have this. We haven't quite figured out what the issue is. Some of us have this issue and some of us don't. In my account, the yes and the no are both bulleted.
Checked.
Right.
Yep.
And I can't figure out what the deal is with that. But anyway, my wife's account is working great. So that's fantastic. Basically, team members cannot create personal opportunities within our market center. Now, this is only for teams, obviously, right? But even 2-person teams.
So that switches off their ability in their own command.
Yep.
Right. So what you're saying is, if you're on our team, all opportunities going to the team account.
Yep.
There's no separate business. But you may have a person which is kind of 1 foot in the team, 1 foot out the team that you want to allow them. So you'd select the other option, right?
Yeah. Or if you're
by team member.
rainmakers will so we could do by team member, right? I think it's just set up that way because I'm the opposite of my wife, right? So that's why it's only listing me. But some rainmakers will actually allow their buyer's agents or team agents to do like family business, in which case that would have to be set to yes. Otherwise, there's no way to create it, because when you try to create the opportunity, it just tells you that it's not allowed. Right. You get a pop-up that tells you it's not allowed.
If you check Brett?
I don't know.
We don't know. I didn't know.
Is it because this is in the way? Nope.
No, I just wondered what happened.
Yeah. Well, I would expect that when I check that, then I get to choose the permissions, but I don't know.
Okay. All good.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. We're always learning. When you get into the, I don't want to say that word, the depths, I was going to use the bowels of this system. That's a shipping term, I think.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I mean, we said this is going to be a deep dive, and we're actually diving deeper than we typically do on a daily basis too. Yeah. So if this was set to all team members can create private opportunities within our market center, and you are a rainmaker, that is going to be a nightmare for you, because there's another setting in Command that's really important too, and that is to set the default account to either the team or the personal account. And if your agents on your team haven't set the default to the team account, they're constantly going in and not paying attention to the fact that they're in their personal account. And when they create opportunities, they're creating opportunities in their personal account, and the rainmaker can't see them at all. Right. Got you. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to leave this at no.
Yep.
And then recurring deductions. This is something that is part of that commission request that's in opportunities. And now we have the ability that if we do make regular, I made sure I didn't say doo-doo. I almost said doo-doo.
You said doo-doo.
Oh, I did it. If we do make recurring deductions, then I can set this up here, and it will
just realize that police song. You know that do. It's really not good, is it? A do. You do.
He does.
Oh dear. I don't think he realized that when he wrote that song.
He's from your country, dude.
Yeah, they used the term. Do. Okay, dollar amount. So we want to give money to KW Cares. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
If it's something that I do all the time and I have a set amount that I normally give, then I can do that. Or there's a percentage as well. And then KW Kids can, Bold Scholarship. So these are just recurring deductions. A lot of our agents will automatically give the same amount on every commission check. And so now you can set it up to automatically be recurring. Okay, that's it for opportunity settings. Now, let's jump into contacts. We're going to create a contact here. I'm going to add a contact.
You got to add the podcast tag.
I do. So absolutely. Otherwise, I won't be able to see it. Will I? All right.
We have to screen out the real data because YouTube will ban us, and that'll be the end of it. If you accidentally share personal information on YouTube, which is really not a good idea. Joe Schmo.
I think I already have a Joe Schmo in there, so I'm going to make Schmolsky. I'm probably getting into foreign languages I don't understand. I don't mean to offend anybody if I am.
Could be something terrible in Polish.
I know.
He said Schmoll.
Ay. All right, at email.com, and then we'll give a phone number. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I'm just laughing. I'm just imagining the guy in Poland going, look at him, use the small word on YouTube.
All right, so I am not going to assign this to my wife.
That was my Polish accent. I apologize.
I was not taking that from Polish at all.
Wait, it's the Smurfs, isn't it? Do you remember the Smurfs?
I remember the Smurfs.
Well, they were Finnish. They were Swedish or something. But they were from the north.
Because the ones that did have hair, most of them had blonde hair. So
did they?
Well, I know Smurfette did.
Oh. I'm a bit older than you. I think I kind of. Yeah, I missed it. We had the clangers. You'll never had the clangers, will you?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's a shame. You'd have loved it. They didn't speak any words. They were just whistled.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you were watching it when you were 2 and you didn't speak either? Is that the
They
point
lived
of it?
Well, it's like Pingu. Do you remember Pingu?
You know, the only thing I know from like British TV shows for kids is Peppa Pig. That's it.
Well, yes, Peppa Pig it's a worldwide phenomenon. You know, I can't
is.
believe. I'll tell you a story. I used to tell kids stories to the kids.
Yeah.
And there is now Captain Underpants.
I
A
know.
whole book,
It's
cartoon series, everything.
my son's totally into it.
Yeah.
It's Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
And I used Captain Underpants before it ever came out.
I hope you didn't dress up as him.
No, I did not dress
Okay.
up as him. No, but the idea was it was a superhero because they
Yeah.
always wore the pants on the outside of the superhero.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you know what it was is it's how they belittled their principal that they didn't like.
Oh,
My son is actually totally into Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He's got all of the books, and that's where it came from. that's how the 2 boys that always got in trouble belittled their principal is by turning him into Captain Underpants.
right, got you. But I mean, have you heard of the poop song? I'm telling you, these kids that I've got grandchildren, 7 years old, and her sense of humor is dark, man. It's really dark for a 7-year-old. It's like she'll walk in the house and she'll go, "Alexa, play the poop song," and next thing you know, I'm waiting for my poop.
Okay, my son has done that, but I
Yeah.
don't think I stuck around to hear the song.
Oh my
But
God,
I
it's
have
terrible.
heard him do that.
It's terrible.
Okay, so there's your family values for the day as well. All right, so we're gonna create this.
Schmolsky.
Create Schmolsky as the contact. And now we see that he's been created. He's at 64%. What am I missing here? Well,
Neighborhood.
I'm missing an address, right? A social profile. So that is something that if you tune into our MCTTs Unleashed Facebook group, we actually have these slide decks. We have all the information that we show you on here. So we have memory joggers on there to help you build your database. And we have a graphic on there that shows you what constitutes a 100% healthy score, contact score. So go check that out.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to create an opportunity. And I click on the opportunities tab here. Now, one thing that I love is I have found myself always creating opportunities from the contact, right? Because now when we create a contact, it brings us right into the contact. Wasn't it the functionality before that we created a contact and it took us right back to the whole contact list?
Can't remember.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
So I found myself creating opportunities from here now rather than going to opportunities and finding the contact there. So timeline shows us the history of the contact, how we've been engaging with them, how they've been engaging with us. Opportunities, if there are any opportunities, it will actually have a little circle here that shows you how many opportunities there are. So that's handy. Smart plans, tasks, notes, save searches for your website. All of that is relative to this particular contact. So it's nice to have all that here in one shot. All right, so we're going to go to opportunities. We're going to create opportunity. There's Mr. Schmolsky. And the opportunity type, we're going to use a listing. And I am the owner. The team is there. If I had created a co-contact, what do we call it? Relationship, right? When we're creating a contact, there's an opportunity to create a relationship, which is a secondary contact, and then choosing how they're related. So let's say I had Jane Schmolsky that I had created as the relationship. If I was to click this, she would automatically pop up here, which is really handy if you are if you do have, say, a husband and wife that are your sellers, you'll be able to find the contact super easy.
So it's any relationship you can think of.
Any relationship. Yep. And pretty much any relationship is there. There's stepchildren, step parents,
everything,
aunts, uncles, all kinds
There's
of stuff.
cousin in it. I don't know.
Yeah. No. So the opportunity name, I know in my office, our staff needs to see the address before anything else in the opportunity name, because when they're helping us locate files, they only have the address to go on. They don't know our customers' names and all that. So I always put in the address first. Okay. And what helps when I create the opportunity name like this now, and I have the opportunity name correctly, is when I go to create the room in Docusign by hitting start a transaction, it's automatically going to name the room the way that it is in the opportunity in command. So I don't have to worry about changing anything later. It just all lines up nice. Right? Custom tags.
So you've created a very rare what's called a Google slap.
What is a Google slap?
So when Google first came out, because it was this comprehensive world knowledge, young people like me used to try and find a search term that has no results. And Schmolsky has no results. It's a rare, absolutely unique term for I hate to say it, but anyway.
I'm a genius. Can I make money from that? Probably not. Right?
Schmolsky.com. I mean, you can bring out, make chocolates or cured meats or something. I don't know.
That's way too boring.
Yeah.
You know, I would take it to a different place.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get into trouble for this. I don't know why.
I know there's something about that term that's really irking me too. Like I said, I 100% apologize if Schmolsky means something I don't know. It's just a name for training purposes, I promise.
It's not on Google, but it's just the inference, isn't it? Because a schmo is a
schmo is
person.
like a toolbox. Yeah. Or I have a buddy from Massachusetts, Matt Jones, who's one of our awesome insurance vendors, and Brooke Silva might actually know this term too, but they call it a it just left me. I'll come back to it. They have a name for something similar. A jamoke.
A jamoke?
Yeah.
I have to Google that as well.
I've never.
I wonder if it's in ChatGPT's training data.
I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna stop right there with all that because I hope I didn't offend anybody with that one either. As far as I know, it just means schmo or toolbox or something like that. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, move forward.
Is there a hole down there?
I know we need to slip out the back door. All right. Okay. So our estimated close date, I don't know what that is because it's a listing opportunity. The price, we'll say that we have a rough idea of what the price is. Commission rate. The important thing here is that this is strictly for the listing side, right? Yep. So if I am doing it at a total of blank percent and I'm only taking half of that percentage for the listing side, then that half percentage is what goes in here.
Yeah.
You like how I did that without saying anything?
Otherwise, it'll throw you figures. So your projections will all be wrong. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely good to put in the actual side because you're going to create a buy side opportunity later when the buyer is found. You may or may not be bringing that buyer.
Right.
If you do, then you put that in and it goes under your figures. But if not, it will be accounted for separately.
But just to be clear, I'm only creating a buyer opportunity for this if I have the buyer as the agent. Yeah. But if there's another agent that brings me the buyer, then that all cycles through this same opportunity. All right, my phase. Now that you brought this up and we were talking about this. If I just had a conversation with somebody, and that was the key right there, right? They're a contact. A conversation implies that there's two-way communication.
Yeah,
right.
Well, you're in the cultivate stage, which is just getting it going. You're just getting it going.
So I'm creating an opportunity, and I leave it in cultivate. Now, this might look different for a lot of the agents that may be watching this, and it's because I actually changed the stages within the cultivate phase to make sense to me. Because like nurture, hot, and watch doesn't mean anything to me. So I put these on time frames. So I have like A seller 0 to 3 months, B seller 3 to 6, and so on.
Good way to segment your database.
Yep. And we're going to change this to appointment, and we are on scheduling. All right. Again, my stages are going to look different. You can always reach out to Peter and myself. Definitely reach out to your MCTT first. If you don't know who your MCTT is, we will get you connected to them. And if you don't have an MCTT, you most likely have a regional tech trainer. And if you don't know who any of those people are, reach out to Peter and I, and we will get you connected to the right person. And if we can't find them, then we are more than happy to help you as well. And we can show you how you can change the stage names to make sense for you. All right, so we're going to create that.
Did you put the tag in for a podcast?
No, I put training in.
Okay.
I didn't. I did for the contact, but I didn't.
For the contact. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now we're going to click on this opportunity. You know what I didn't do? Let's see what I can do here. So I need to go to, I'm going to edit because I forgot to add my wife as the second assignee. And why do I want to do that, Peter?
Well, because it speeds up the process in the Docusign room later to have the right people in the room permissions.
Exactly. So we're not necessarily going all the way through the team training. We do have a previous episode on 2-person teams and utilizing opportunities in Docusign. But just to point it out, since we're here, I'm going to add my wife as the assignee because we are a dual rainmaker team. And when I do that, when I go to hit documents now and then start a transaction, what did that do? Look at that pop up.
Yeah.
So if you are having difficulty with opportunities in your dual rainmaker team, say a husband and wife team, or 50-50 partners, whatever that looks like for you, and you're finding yourself that when you create an opportunity, your teammate can't, or sorry, when you create the opportunity and then go into DocuSign rooms and your teammate can't see any of the documents you're working on, it's because you missed that step. Now, it can be added through the people in DocuSign later, which we discovered on one of our awesome
But it's
morning
complex.
calls the other day.
It's complex. It's multi-stage addition. Yeah.
It's much easier to just add the assignee in the opportunity in command and not worry about anything in DocuSign. DocuSign does have more steps, makes it more involved and more difficult. So if I add the other Rainmaker as the assignee as well, so I got both of us as the assignee, I get this pop-up and I get to choose who's listing agent 1, who's listing agent 2. And now when I hit confirm and sync, it takes me to DocuSign. It adds my wife to the room, and all of the documents that I create, she can now see as well. The only caveat to that is if I create an envelope, she can't see the envelope until the documents return. And that's a limitation of DocuSign.
Is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. But I am not going to muddy up my wife's DocuSign account, so I'm not going to hit that there. All right. Back to details. It's important that we put the property address in here. Okay. So, and just to be clear on this, how I'm going kind of fast, and I apologize for that. This is a pet peeve of mine, but it is what it is. I feel like these pencils need to be the other way around. I think they need to be dark, and when you highlight over it, it needs to be light because they are hard to see. A lot of agents have complained about that, and I definitely feel your pain. But just understand that any of these boxes that you want to change, there is a pencil, gray pencil hiding in that white space at the opposite corner of that box. So I'm going to click that pencil, and then I'm going to put in the address. 54 Main Street. We'll just go with Safety Harbor. And you can see it auto-populates. So I've noticed a lot of agents and it makes sense, right? Country is there first, and it's got a red asterisk, so they're hitting that and trying to choose the country. Start with address line 1, put in the address, and then it will auto-populate everything else once you select the address.
Does that pull a photo of the property? Because I saw something the other day where the email that goes out updating, the email that goes out with the update on it had a picture of the house. So where was that?
So that's pulling from the KWLS.
Yes.
Yep.
So does that pull through here for when you put this address
so
in? Okay.
Let me do this. Here, I'm going to show you. So this is how we would do it if we were putting in the property address, if it wasn't on the KWLS, right? But I can do this and go select from listings.
Right. That was
right. And this is something that we saw yesterday morning, I believe, with our tech community. And that is that we have those the market center listings, right? A market center exclusive, I think they call it, right? And if I've already put that information in as a market center exclusive, I can select it from here.
Right.
Okay.
But the advantage is that all the documentation that goes out to the client has an actual photo of the house.
Yes.
Which is quite an important thing because it's it keeps you motivated to buy when you see what you're buying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From the buyer's point of view.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm not going to commingle that. I don't need to give my wife any more excuses to get mad at me, so I'm not going to do that to her account. All right, let's go back here, and we're going to go to 1234 Main Street. Plug that in, hit save. And then here are those dates that we were talking about and the parties to the transaction, right? This is a huge update to opportunities that came out 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. And now we have all these other key dates that we can add to the transaction. I can come over here and I can add vendors, right? So I can go to home warranty and I can search for that vendor. So I'm going to say American Home Shield because I know this is one that I put in. But I did that in my account.
Yeah, so
right?
it's not been approved yet.
So let me check with escrow officer and see
Try
if this is in here.
AHS.
Okay. I'm going to try this because I know that I did this one.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is. So this is one that I created before. Okay. I know what happened. I had started doing home warranty on mine before, and I didn't know what the correct address was for my rep. So I switched to escrow officer. And now what this is I did not create this in my wife's account. I created this in my account, but now it's living in this database. And now any of our agents should be able to choose this.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to choose that escrow officer there. And then that's how I can just go through and add parties to the transaction. It's really helpful because we get this snapshot now of all the important dates and all the parties. Right?
How do you pronounce that name then? Perrault.
It's very American, not French.
Because Renault, which is a car maker,
Yeah.
used to be anyway.
Yeah.
It's spelt the same way, but they say Renault. I wonder if that's
Renault.
Perrault.
They call it Renault.
Renault.
You're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
No, it's Renault.
Americans call it Renault.
Well, I know Americans do. I mean, you say Nissan. Nissan. It's Nissan.
So, but no, that name is
Nissan.
pronounced Perrault, although I would imagine it is Perrault in France.
Yes, I think it is.
Yep. All right. So target live date. There's some really cool stuff in here for your listing, right? So photography date, staging date, target live date. If I'm taking a listing and this happens to us a lot, right? We take a listing and the seller says, I'm not ready for 3 weeks. Go ahead and get the listing agreement signed, right? You're locked up. That's your listing at that point. And then do whatever proper paperwork you have to with your MLS. I know with our MLS, we have a certain document, an exclusion form that says you're going to leave it off the MLS for a certain amount of time. Get that all signed and then let the seller do what they need to. Plug in the target live date here, and you know when you need to get going with it. So lots of great features here. Financial information. So now we're looking at that, right? So we've got our price of what that represents and the commission. Don't you think I want to know? So I'm going to use that agent as an example. Let's just say he had 5 conversations with people that represented $13,650 in commission.
Substantial.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what that looks like. All right. So we're done with that. And documents is where we would go to now then start a transaction. Now, this is going to vary from what I'm about to show here is going to vary from market center to market center, depending on whether it's been set up or not. And it will look different even if it has been set up. But you see here, it says to start work with opportunity, please select checklist type first. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose whether it's residential, vacant land, condominium, or outgoing referral. There's been a lot of talk about how do we track referrals in opportunities. And this is one of the ways that you can do it. You can have it set up. Your leadership has to set it up this way, but you can have a referral as a checklist type, and then it will show you the proper paperwork that you need and placeholders and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose residential. And now when this opens up, you can see we have our executed listing agreement. That's required. Seller's property disclosure is optional because not every customer will fill it out. And just so you know, in the state of Florida, it is absolutely 100% required to disclose any material facts of the property that
you can disclose
somebody couldn't possibly see, right?
Yeah.
But the form itself of a seller's property disclosure is not a required document by the state of Florida. So that's why it's optional. Frequently asked questions. So anyway, it shows what's conditional, what's optional, what's required, and that's going to vary depending on the compliance situation of your individual office. But what's cool here, you'll see the teal box here with the DS in it. That DS is for Docusign. And what that means is if I check these off, right, if I was to check all of these off, the ones that I want, when I hit start a transaction, that's going to take me over to Docusign, and those documents that have the square with the DS in it, all those documents will automatically be there. I, as the agent, don't have to go find what documents I need. So super handy. Again, has to be set up by your leadership. But you know, if they don't have it already set up, then I'm sure they're working on it, or there's
5
reasons.
market centers. I painstakingly went through every one
Yeah.
of them and put them in.
Yeah.
So they're in.
Yeah, it's very handy. It's one of the biggest value pieces that leadership can create for their agents, I think, when it comes to, you know, the transactions.
Certainly speeds the process up.
Yep. Okay, offers and commissions. First of all, let me go back to, we were in details and we were talking about all these dates, right? Dates and our parties to the transaction. This is one of the new features here, generate transaction summary. So I'm going to click on this. And it's going to ask me, what do I want? Do I want opportunity dates? I want transaction dates as well. And then I've got tasks and checklists and stuff. So then I'm going to hit generate. And now, if my Adobe account doesn't kick me out, now you can see that I have this awesome printed transaction summary that gives me a snapshot of everything going on with that file.
And one big tip, this doesn't stay. This link here at the top, you can't share it because it's not a permanent document.
Right.
So you have to download it.
Yeah. So you would have to download it or print it, you know, whatever your situation is, whatever you're doing. One thing that I like to talk about with this and why I'm so happy it is a feature now is this bridges the gap for the old school agent that is still paper files and the digital age that we live in with digital files, right? There are a lot of agents, and I understand because I started this way. There are a lot of agents that keep paper files on a folder, and they have a sheet similar to this that they've created, you know, in a spreadsheet or whatever, or just handwritten. They have that on the outside of the folder so they can grab the folder in a shot, just kind of look and see what's going on with that particular transaction. Now you can just print it from opportunities, staple that to the outside of your paper folder, and you're good. Yep. Love that new feature. Okay, so that is the transaction summary. And then we're going to go over to offers and commissions. One thing, though, we were talking about that commission that this opportunity represents, right? So we promised we would do this. And before I forget, I need to go back and do this. So potential income, probable income, right? This is where we're talking about being able to forecast your cash flow. And if you're not creating opportunities around the people that you meet that represent sellers, buyers, or, you know, leases, landlords or tenants, then you have no idea, unless you're keeping that information somewhere else. And I understand that. But if you're not keeping it at all and you're not plugging them in as opportunities in command, then you're missing out on being able to have these numbers in your face to motivate you to realize that, hey, I've got people in here. I'd like to have $203,000 in my pocket. I should probably be keeping up with them, right? Mm-hmm. Now, my potential income and my probable income, you can see right here, total commission from all listing opportunities, and my probable income is adjusted commission based on each stage's probability to close. So I'm not going to put Peter on the spot here. I'm pretty sure he knows this, but there is a misconception that I want these numbers to be closer together. And I actually want these numbers to be farther apart. Because if these numbers are close together, that means I have very little in my pipeline once these close. And then I'm riding the roller coaster, right? Once this 52,000 in commission closes, if this was 58,000 up here because there's like a lot opportunity or something, left. I got nothing left.
Yeah.
But this is pretty healthy to look at, right? So I've got I know one thing. I know what my wife's got coming in. So I've got this 52,000, and then there's 4 times that in my potential income that's in the pipeline. So that is really cool. And that's what we're talking about, using opportunities the way that it was intended and being intentional about it for yourself and your own business so that you can forecast and keep an eye on and track your potential and probable income. All right, so let's go back to that opportunity, which is, I put it in appointment, and it's this one. And we're going to go to offers and commissions. So this is the good part, right? This is where everybody gets paid. Just going to check on something real quick here. Okay. That's not very nice. One of the beautiful things of streaming live on YouTube is the trollers, but that's okay. Moving right along. So we have our offers and commissions, and we're going to add a new offer.
We should have called it
Schmoskies.
Yeah, and mine bozos.
All right. So what would you like to call it? Now, I know if I just have the one offer, I leave this at initial offer. But what happens to us as listing agents quite often, especially if we have a hot property, is we have multiple offers, right? So I might have offer from, and I typically will have the buyer's agent's name. So offer from agent A, and then create that offer. I'm going to go in here, and the offer date is today. The close date will say is the end of the month. And our parties, the name of the buyer, all right, and that's all the information I need, because this is the other agent's customer, so I probably don't know that information, right? And then I can mark whether they're pre-approved or pre-qualified. So I'm going to say that they're pre-approved. No, I'm going to say, which one's better, Peter? Which one do I want to be?
The better one's pre-approved, isn't it?
Pre-qualified.
Pre-qualified.
Wait, no, you're right. Pre-approved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pre-qualified
Pre-qual's
means
just
that
you've checked your credit.
Exactly. Yep. That one is always confusing. But pre-approved means that that you're right before you would be approved, and it's way better than right before you would be qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So associate's name is Bob Agent. And then I could put whatever other information in there if I want, but that's all that's required. So that's all we're going to do right now. And then we're going to go up here and cash, finance amount, sales price. I cannot enter the sales price. This is not an editable field. It is the sum of cash and finance amount. So if it was all cash, I could put this in, and that's what that would look like. Or I could do 320 like that. And then that would leave me 135. Hey, look at that. I'm a math whiz. Earnest amount. So I'm just going to make this comment because this is how we as agents think. We see percentage and we go, oh, commission percentage. No, that's not what that is. This is the percentage of the purchase price that your earnest money amount would be. And most of the time, we don't think in those terms, at least not here in Florida. We typically have a flat dollar fee.
Like 5,000.
Yeah. So 5,000 we'll put in there. And then the option fee. This is the option fee if there was an option to buy from a lease, I guess. I don't know. Don't do it that often. I don't know that I ever have. Termination option. Buyer will give notice of termination within blank days after contract. Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're terminating there. It's not very descriptive to me. I don't pay attention to it. Seller will contribute blank to a residential service contract. So real estate language
That's a home warranty.
It is. It's a home warranty.
Yeah.
And real estate language is very different from state to state, but this means a home warranty. Seller will contribute blank to settlement costs. That's any seller contributions towards the buyer's closing costs. Okay, and then we have agent analysis. Pros, we'll say pre-qualified. Full price offer. Cons.
Low escrow, really.
Yeah, I'm going to say low escrow. On that dollar amount, that's pretty low. Okay. And then my summary is my analysis to the seller as the agent offering my advice. So I'd say,
take it for God's sake.
exactly.
The market's not as good as it was.
I would go with this offer.
First offer is quite often the highest.
And it's normally your best. It's normally the one that's gonna make it to close. Yep, absolutely. But ask for more escrow. Okay, so that would be my analysis. Then I hit save. And I can decide whether I want to accept or reject that. We're going to say that there's 2 offers on this because I just want to show something real quick. So this is going to be offer from Jane, agent. Create offer. This is going to be a far out close. Far out, man.
Far out, dude.
Parties. We're going to say this is...
I'm totally getting that new VW bus, by the way.
What is that?
It's the new... do you remember the VW bus?
Yeah.
They're bringing out an electric version of
really?
it.
So they call it Buzz because of the
BUZZ,
electric? That's pretty cool.
And it's an awesome... I don't know how much it is, but I'm definitely going to get one. So
well,
it's one
we're
of
not
those
going to have to worry
aspirational
about money pretty
statements.
soon.
Yeah. I know that lottery.
Exactly. I'm set to win. You know what? I've got lottery tickets in my glove box or my center console. I'm pretty sure that I've been a millionaire all this time and I haven't even looked yet. Don't you hate people like me?
You end up on the news. Final days
know, right?
for the winner of September's multi-billion prize, which remains unclaimed. Can anybody call Brett
and then you
check the glove
and then
box?
you find out the day after, right, that you were the winner and you screwed up big time. All right, so terms, we're gonna say this one is all cash, but it's gonna be low, so we're gonna say like $415, and earnest money amount is $2,000. $1.
And they want seller to contribute $500 to that. Yeah, $10,000 towards closing costs.
Exactly. Well, there wouldn't be any because it's cash, right? But yeah.
Well, they could.
Well, yeah, yeah. Towards their like prorated taxes and stuff.
They just want the money.
They want to put it in their pocket.
Give me money.
I'm going to offer you cash to give me cash back. All right, and then pros, nothing. I mean, I guess all cash. Cons, long close, low escrow. Yep, low offer, low escrow. Paying for home warranty. I'll just leave it at that. There's other bad things too. Paying for home warranty. And then summary, run.
Not a strong offer.
All right, save. Now, the reason I do that is so that I can show you this, which is a very cool feature of opportunities, and it's been here for a very long time. It was one of the first features of opportunities. It used to be that it was given as a landing page that you could send to your customer and they could just visit it online. But now it does it as a print. So I go to select all and then compare offers. And you see that I get a side-by-side summary. And obviously, you know, it would have more columns if I had more offers. And it's showing me right down the line, side-by-side comparison of each of the major negotiation points of that offer. Right. And then I can email the comparison or I can download it. So really handy. If I email it, it just emails right through command mail. I can say send a copy to my email as well. That's an automated message right there.
Offers,
pretty cool. Right. And then send offer. So pretty cool. And it auto populated the contact's email. So really neat. I think that was a fairly deep dive. What do you think, Peter?
It certainly was. Yeah, I mean, I have to give this sort of caveat. It's not the most interesting section, but I think you did a great job of making it more interesting.
Thank you, sir.
But it's got a lot of benefits, to say the least. Tremendous amount.
Yeah, it does for sure. And it's one of the, like we said, it's one of the most important parts of your business. Tracking your transactions, tracking and forecasting your income, knowing your numbers, all of those things are super, super important. And you really can't, like, let's say you've hit a ceiling in your business. If you're not able to get more business and you're just bouncing off that ceiling, it's most likely because you're not tracking your numbers or have them in front of you all the time so that you can use them to motivate you and move on to the next level, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode.
Yeah.
Peter, as always, had a good time. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.